welcome to today's practice, which is going to be a very gentle flow. So you may want a couple of blocks or maybe some books or pillows, whatever offers you some support, since we're not going to be really trying to muscle our way through anything. And this is going to be quite restorative. We're going to keep this short, maybe about 30 minutes. So let's begin. We're going to sit in a comfortable seat on the mat. You may want to elevate the hips, so you can use one of your blocks here to place underneath the hips to lift those hips up and create a little more space for comfort in those knees. This is honestly my favorite way to meditate, so give it a try if you haven't before. Go ahead and erect the spine so that the crown of the head reaches straight up to the ceiling, and maybe you even close down the eyes if you're in a safe space, if you're comfortable with it. I'm going to take chin mudra today, which means my thumb and my forefinger are going to be touching. I'm going to take palms up to show that I am ready to receive this beautiful practice. Go ahead and close your eyes if you haven't already. Take 3 full deep breaths with intention. Let your exhale take you deeper into a space of stillness. And after you've taken that third breath, we're going to now set our intention with the breath. So continue with the deep breathing, but now the focus in the mind's eye goes to your why. Why are you showing up to your mat today? What is your intention? Because it is through our intention that we are truly driven. It's really what pulls us into our reality. What is your intention? You can create your own or you can borrow mine. My intention is to invite greater stillness and awareness into my life as I walk through my busy day today. That my reactions may be a little slower and much more peaceful, just like the practice that I create on the mat. Take one more breath cycle, an inhale and an exhale. And then flitter the eyes open if they were closed. And let's go ahead and begin by bringing that right arm across the chest and taking the left hand on the elbow to gently push the bicep in towards the heart. Reach that right arm as far out as you can. Breathe release into the shoulder as you exhale. And now keep that right hand or left hand right where it's at, but let it assist that right arm in going up to the sky. And then the left elbow is going to come onto the left side of the head. Right arm is going to dip back behind you so that you're reaching that hand down the spine. At the same time, you're pulling that left hand against the right elbow to help open up through the tricep. You can release that left hand, reach the right arm up to the sky, and now down to the mat. Left arm comes up and over. Reach through the left fingertips and push down through the left hip. I don't recommend leaning into that right hand as it's going to take a little bit of substance out of that side body. So really just very light fingertips here in the right hand. Inhale back through center. And let's do the other side. Left arm reaches across the body. Right hand grabs behind the left elbow, and let's pull that left arm in towards the heart. Again, that exhale is what's going to initiate any sort of release that we need to have here in the shoulder. Let's keep contact with that right hand, left elbow as we reach the left arm up. Right elbow comes up into the side of the head, and then reach the left hand down the spine as you push against that left elbow with the right hand. Breathe into the heart. Breathe into the tricep, the back of the arm. And then nice and slow, release that right hand down, lift the left arm up, send it down to the ground, reach right arm up and over. Remember, keeping very minimal weight in that left hand as we reach the right arm over and push the right hip down towards the mat. Inhale, come back through center, open the arms out. Exhale, hug yourself, wrap the hands back towards the shoulder blades. I have my right elbow on the bottom, so you want to make sure you know which elbow is on the bottom. Inhale, elbows up to the sky without arching through the back. Exhale, lower the elbows down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Next inhale, open those arms up. And now that left elbow for me is going to come to the bottom as I wrap my hands around my shoulders, giving myself a good little hug. Inhale, elbows up towards the chin. Exhale, lower those elbows down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then inhale, open those arms up. Create a goal pose by bending the elbows. Squeeze the shoulder blades along the spine and puff that heart up to the sky. Go ahead and lift the chin too. Open up through the throat. As you exhale, round through the shoulders, tuck the chin, keep the goalpost arms, but now those hands come down to the mat, towards the mat. Inhale, hands come back up, squeeze the shoulder blades, puff the heart, lift the chin. Exhale, reverse all of that. And inhale, lower the hands down into the lap, roll the neck out. You can do full neck rolls or you can do half neck rolls. My preference is half neck rolls. I don't particularly like going into full neck rolls, but you may really enjoy that. So give it a shot if it is appropriate for your practice. All right, bring that head back to center. If you're still seated on the block, you can go ahead and release that here. And we're gonna come onto our hands and knees. Nice neutral spine in our hands and knees. We're going to drop the tailbone slightly down towards the knees. We're gonna do a small protraction or rounding of the shoulders just to keep everything nice and intact, very active here. On your next inhale, I want the belly to start to sag as the hips go up towards the sky. The heart moves forward and the head lifts. Exhale, round through the spine, drop the tailbone toward the back of the knees. Hug the heart in towards the back of the spine and tuck the chin. Inhale, reverse. Cow, let the belly sag, let the heart lift. Exhale, round. One more, inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, back to neutral. Place that right hand directly below the nose and inhale, left arm up to the sky. Exhale, thread that left arm underneath the right armpit and land onto your left shoulder. The left side of the head comes to the mat. The right hand can stay directly in front of the face. It can go out in front of you, or maybe you bring it up to the sky for a slightly deeper twist. Maybe you even wrap it all the way around the spine and grab for the inner left thigh with those right fingertips. Let the breath take you deeper into a space of release. On your next inhale, release that right hand. If it was wound around the spine, right hand comes down in front of the nose. We're going to push into the right hand as we lift that left arm back up to the sky. Place that left hand back down to the mat. And then step that left foot in between the hands. This is where we are going to take the blocks and possibly we frame out that left foot. We're going to push into the blocks and let the hips sink down as we lift up into our heart. It's a nice straight spine here. You will want to tuck that tailbone slightly under instead of pushing it out and up towards the sky. We have a nice little tilt down with that pelvis. Sink as deeply as you can go here into the hips. Keep the heart nice and active, shoulders away from the ears, and breathe into the heart. On your next inhale, I'm going to adjust my block so it's at a lower level. That right hand is going to plant. The left arm is going to go up to the sky. Exhale, left arm elbow comes towards the right hand. It may touch the hand, it may not. Inhale, left elbow up to the sky. Exhale, left elbow towards that hand. One more time, up to the sky. Elbow to the hand. And then once more, frame out that left foot. We're going to shift our hips back over that back knee. Extend through the left leg. Point the left toes up towards the sky. As you can see, my foot is nice and active. And then allow your torso to melt over that left thigh. You may not go very deep, or maybe you do go really deep. It's up to you, especially in a gentle practice. You'll modify accordingly to your practice. And remember that practice changes day to day. Sometimes a pose may be very accessible. Other times it may not be accessible at all. Let the breath always be accessible. On your next inhale, bend back into that left knee. We're going to tuck the back toes. Right hand one more time is going to plant as we lift that left arm back up to the sky. Another twist, but a little bit deeper this time. We're going to bring that left arm into that filled goal post shape, and we're going to reach the left elbow back behind us. Now take this only as deep as you can. You want to be very mindful of the spine, and we really want this twisting motion to always come from the strength of the core. Go ahead and bring the gaze up if that's comfortable. And then left hand frames out that left foot. We're going to step the right foot towards the top of the mat with the left foot. Take as many steps as you need to. Take an inhale here, halfway lift. Flat spine, crown of the head reaches forward, tailbone reaches back, and exhale, fold. One more time, just like that. Inhale, halfway lift. Let the hamstrings get a little space here. Exhale, fold. Hands plant to the mat, and we're going to step this back into our tabletop shape. So shoulders above the wrists. Knees below the hips. And let's do 2 cat-cows. Inhale, cow. Exhale, round cat. When I would do yoga with one of my sons, we would go inhale, moo. Exhale, meow. We would make the cat and the cow noises. And sometimes it's fun to bring those sort of elements, that playful element into our practice. Go ahead and send that left hand directly underneath the nose. Inhale, right arm up to the sky, reach. And exhale, right hand slithers underneath that left armpit as we bring the right shoulder down to the mat, right side of the head to the mat. That left arm can stay directly where it is or reach it out in front of you, maybe up to the sky, maybe all the way around so that those left fingertips reach for the inner right thigh. Let your exhale melt you deeper and deeper into the earth. Nothing else to think about other than the breath and the way that the body is responding here. On your next inhale, reach that left arm up. Clamp the left hand in front of the face. Push down into the left hand and reach that right arm up to the sky. Right hand is going to come down. And we're going to step that right foot in between the hands. Now again, you can take those blocks. We're going to frame out the foot. And we're going to lift the torso up so that we have a nice erect flat spine. Crown of the head reaches to the sky, heart is lifted, hips are sinking deep. So we take this to our threshold, whatever that means for you. Enough that we are feeling the sensation and getting the benefit of the stretch, but not so much that we're straining. And that's what we have these blocks here for. So even if you have a really solid Anjaneyasana or a really foundational low lunge, sometimes it's really nice to use the blocks for the support so that you can go a little bit deeper inside. You can breathe a little bit more fully, and you're not necessarily worried about the effort you're putting forward. I'm going to lower this left block of mine so that I can plant that left hand. We're going to reach the right arm up to the sky, and then exhale, right elbow is going to come down towards the left hand. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, right arm up. And exhale, right hand down. Inhale, bring that right hand back onto the outside of the right foot. Let's move this into our Hanumanasana. Shift the hips back towards that back knee. Extend through the right leg. Toes go up to the sky, nice and active. And then melt the torso over the right thigh. Taking this wherever it leads you. Letting the breath initiate and then stopping where the breath says to stop. So no matter where we go in our asana, we always want there to be integrity around the breath. On your next inhale, bend back into that right knee. We're going to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up, plant that left hand down, and one more time, reach the right arm up to the sky. Bend the right elbow and reach the elbow back further. Really open up through the heart. Gaze up at the ceiling or at the fingertips. And then exhale, frame out the right foot. We're going to step that left foot up to meet the right. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And this time, grab either elbow and just find a nice little sway here. Let the crown of the head completely melt down towards the mat so that there's no tension in the neck or the shoulders. On your next inhale, find stillness and heel toe those feet so that they're about as wide as the mat. Start to sink down into the hips, coming into your yogi squat. Elbows inside of the knees. If you need to use a block here to help support those hips, you can definitely do so. Remember, there's those 3 different heights. So if you need a little higher height or the highest height, you can also stack the blocks. But if you do that, make sure that you're doing it safely. Either way, those elbows continue to push on the insides of those knees to help to open up through the hip space. Take 2 breaths here. Really push the heart into the thumbs and the thumbs into the heart. And then on your next exhale, that right hand is going to come down, push the right knee into the right tricep as you inhale that left arm up to the sky. Bring the hands back to the heart center. Straighten that spine. And then exhale, left hand comes down, right arm goes up. Bring the hands back to the center. 2 more breaths here. And then in whatever way works best for you to make yourself down onto your seat, go ahead and lower down. We're going to extend those legs out in front of us for Paschimottanasana. Toes go up towards the sky. The heels are going to drive the legs forward. So the legs will never really move, but this momentum is coming from the heels. And the toes reach back towards the heart so that as we start to move forward, it's almost like the toes and the heart want to marry one another and they're reaching and reaching and reaching towards one another. And instead of rounding our spine to get our head down, which is not the goal, we want to keep a nice long spine, pull the low belly in and up, move from the hip space so that that heart starts to reel itself forward and forward and forward. Now, a couple of options here with the block is you can place the blocks on the shins so that you can rest the elbows on them. Maybe the chin goes into the hands and you just sort of chill here. If you don't have that much flexibility in the hip, in the hamstrings, that block can go directly onto the thighs and then you just start to lean forward. Sometimes I like to do a little bit of a bounce when I'm working with a really tight muscle to just bring some warmth into it and elasticity. And then finally, if the hamstrings are really, really tight and this pose is very inaccessible, we're gonna, again, elevate those hips to create just a little bit of space here, which will help with that forward lean. If you've never tried that, I really highly recommend that you try that. One thing to remember is do not lose the activity in the foot. So that foot continues to stay active even as we lean forward here. So give all of those a shot and then find yourself landing exactly where your practice is leading you. We got one more full breath here. And the next inhale, bring yourself back up. Send those hands back behind you with the fingertips pointing towards the feet. Squeeze into the shoulders so that that heart automatically pops up. Point the toes down. Take a big inhale. You can stay here if this is enough. If you feel that lengthening in the spine and the shoulders are already stretching, I love that for you. That's exactly where you're at in your practice. If you want a little more strength base, and a little more openness, we're going to inhale those hips up towards the sky, the toes down towards the mat. From here, tighten the core and then drop the head back into the shoulder girdle as you push the earth away even further. Breathe. One more inhale. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips higher, and then exhale, lower it down. My mat started to slide up. Let's bring the soles of the feet towards one another. And I'm going to shift my way to face the camera. We're going to let the knees drop down to the mat. I like to take my peace fingers and my thumb around my big toes. I pull up on the big toes and then push down on the knees. You can flap them a little bit to get a little bit of movement here in the hip flexors. Inhale into the heart space. Lower the shoulders away from the ears and find yourself in a space where you're recognizing where the effort is needed and where the effort is not necessary. So you identify these places within your practice, like where am I putting forth the effort? Put that effort in 100%, 110%. And then when you identify the places you don't need the effort, let that go, 110%. This way, we can learn to respond where it's appropriate and not respond where it's not appropriate. So that's the lesson of learning on the mat through our bodies, through the transitions, through the holds, and taking it off the mat and bringing that same level of awareness to our everyday situations. All right, let's find that Sukhasana once more, that easy pose. This time, if you can remember which foot went in first at the beginning of class, try to switch that out. Left hand to the outside of that right knee, right hand back behind you, sit up nice and tall, very straight spine. Take an inhale to lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, twist from the core. Back through center, inhale. Exhale over to the other side. Remember, nice tall spine. The core is what initiates the twisting. Inhale your way back through center. And for our final pose today, we're going to take a supported fish. So we're going to take our blocks and set one up and then another one at a higher height, about 6 inches apart. Set yourself up so that you can pull the block in towards you. We're going to use our elbows to come down onto. We're going to adjust the block as we start to come down, and what we really want to see is that block resting right below the shoulder blades. So as we're coming down, we adjust the block so that the bottom of the shoulder blades hits the top of the block. We're going to drape ourselves over that first block and then adjust the second block so that it's directly below our head. So most people prefer the higher height on the head. I actually personally like same height, so you can adjust it as necessary. From here, the body completely melts over the blocks. We're going to bring the soles of the feet towards one another, and again, let those knees drop down towards the mat for reclined Baddha Konasana. So as the heart is expanding, I want you to fully lift the breath up into the chest. Imagine that heart space opens more and more with every inhale you take. And every exhale, let yourself find a place within the body, within the mind, or even within the heart that you can just let go of something. Whatever isn't necessary, whatever isn't serving you, anything that's toxic, breathe it out. This is where we're going to find our final resting place. If you would like to take more of a traditional savasana, you can remove the blocks, lay down on the mat, legs stretch out before you, and the palms land at your side, face up. You're welcome to stay as long as the body permits, or as long as you need to come back to a space of total restoration. I thank you for practicing with me today.